Hey guys, I got a new phone. Oh my gosh, had a huge phone debacle thing um, about a week and a half ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago now. I don't know. Time feels very different right now in this moment. It feels like my life has changed in a million ways, but only 2 weeks have passed. Anyway, I had an unfortunate incident where I lost my phone. And then I went through several other phones because I was just having bad luck, I guess. And I don't know, these companies really get you with the way that they have these things set up at this point. If you can't afford to buy a phone outright, a lot of times you lease your phone. At least that's what I do with my carrier, Sprint. And it ended up when my phone was lost and then stolen, I had to pay $500 for this phone that is now worth probably about $100 because I was leasing it. And so anyway, I ended up with basically the cheapest phone I could get. And because of that, the camera on it is not very good. Not that my camera on the last phone was good or anything, but this one is definitely worse. And there's a lot less memory on this phone. I think it's about 16 gigabytes. So I remember when iPods came out and 16 was not even that big for an iPod, right? You wanted like the 31 or the 64 one. 16 was big at some point. I mean, because I remember when they first came out, and of course, like, iPod mini was like 2 gigabytes or whatever. Anyway, so I don't have that much memory on this phone. I kind of want to, at this point, purchase a camera because I do like making these videos. I know people don't really watch them and whatnot, but I do like making them, so I think I probably will end up investing in a camera. And sorry, I hope that I can figure that out sooner rather than later. If you all have camera recommendations, please do let me know. Alright. So that is my excuse why I haven't been on here in a little while. My cat hates the current brand of cat food that I've been giving him because I've been giving him the same kind that he likes. He really likes the salmon pate because he's fancy. But with this brand, maybe it's like Fancy Feast. I think this brand is Fancy Feast. He really hates this brand, so I'm gonna have to switch back to Purina. He was like all about that Purina, though. The fact that he doesn't like this one that much means that he's not overeating, so maybe I should continue to give him the one he doesn't like that much, but that seems kind of mean. I don't know. Pets have it rough, man. They really don't get to decide. They don't get to make their own choices about a lot of things. That's honestly a big reason why I didn't even want pets for the majority of my life growing up. Because it felt like cruel or something to do that. But I guess it's also cruel that so many animals are being stranded by their owners, and my cat Blue would have been, well, I don't know. He might have been adopted by another person, but he was definitely in a shelter, and he needed to be adopted at that point. So, can't say that's cruel to adopt an animal that needs adopting. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to come on because I haven't come on in a little while. My sister got married this past weekend, which is a big reason why it feels like so much time has passed, because I don't know, it was just like a lot. It was just a lot of events, and I was the maid of honor, so I was kind of like her point person on a lot of things. But I think that it went well, and now she's celebrating her honeymoon in Bali right now, and I'm excited for her, so that's all good. But I feel like I'm like getting back into the real world. And one thing, because my sister is a lot smaller than me, I've talked about that before on this channel. My sister is 5'2", I believe, and probably like around 110 pounds. She might be a little bit less than that. She's like very, very petite. You look at her and you think, wow, that is a small person. she's just petite. Her features are small. And hello. Someone is complaining a little bit. And I've always been bigger than her. I mean, I'm younger than her, so I'm sure there was a short period of time when I wasn't. But for the most part, as long as I can remember, I've been bigger than her. But part of that is not just because I started on putting on weight and being overweight. I don't know, because it's all skewed, right? Because, like, you don't actually know when you're overweight. You'll listen to body positive activists, talk about how they look back at old pictures and they realize they weren't even overweight. I wasn't actually overweight by BMI or whatnot, I think, until I got to college. I could be wrong. It could have been high school or something. But I also started dieting in high school, so I know that I got pretty thin in high school at some point. But maybe like 9th grade, I would have been technically overweight. I don't actually know, because the same as like those other body positive people, when I look back at pictures of me from middle school, from grade school, I'm definitely not overweight. Like, I am probably on the higher side of like the spectrum. Like, I wasn't stick thin, which a lot of maybe the Indian community that I grew up around and folks were. So it's confusing looking back, because your vision of yourself becomes kind of warped. But I always thought of myself as being big, and of my sister as being really small. And she has always been really small. But there's a difference between being bigger than an extremely petite person and being overweight. And I think that I always compared myself to her body size. And of course, because I was dieting at a young age, and there was a lot of comments made to me within my family about my weight at a very young age, that, as we know from reading literature and statistics around diet culture and studies around weight gain, we can see that this false self-imagery that leads to low self-esteem, and then being put into the diet culture system at a young age can make you gain weight to a point where now you are overweight, even if at the time when you were kind of fed these disillusioned thoughts about the way your body should be, you weren't actually overweight. And I think as an adult, it's easier to put on weight and all of that. I wasn't making statements to put blame onto my family or my parents or anything. But it was something I think I was worried about coming into the wedding, because I knew that the bridesmaid's dress that I was wearing was not very flattering on my figure, because the way it was cut, it's that like my arm was completely exposed. It was actually just like what I'm showing right now, like a thick band here, and then your arm is exposed. So it looks you know, I don't like the look of that because I think it's a little bit masculine on me, because I do have fairly big arms, and I have like a pretty nice waist. So I like to draw, you know, I like to wear a sleeve up here and then draw emphasis onto my waist. And I knew going in that I was going to be wearing this dress that was going to make me look big. And I mean, I am big, but it wasn't going to hide that at all. And that on top of that, then I was going to be in all these pictures standing next to my sister. And if I'm 180 pounds, you know, she's 110 pounds, I'm 70 pounds bigger than my sister. So you can see that in a picture. I'm also 5'6" and she's 5'2", so I'm just taller than her, but you know, you can definitely see that this is a person who is 70 pounds bigger than the other person that they're standing next to. So I was worried about that, and I did feel it. Definitely. I felt fat and I felt uncomfortable. And plus it was really hot out and there were a million pictures being taken. But at the same time, I have done a lot of work in loving myself and my body, and I think that that's apparent for me. Like, I think I was noticing it, that like I was put in this. Also, like, I was very focused on my sister, because basically as soon as I got there, I wasn't thinking about myself. I am uncomfortable seeing my big arms in a dress. Like, it's just something I wish, you know, I wasn't so focused on that. But it is something that makes me uncomfortable, and, you know, it's very drilled into my head that I'm so much bigger than my sister, and that my sister is more accomplished than me in a lot of ways. And I don't, personally, I don't feel overshadowed by my sister, but I know that the Indian community that we grew up with sees it that way. So, like, personally, like, I know that I have, like, all these strengths that in the last year or so have become, like, way more apparent to me. I'm very happy with my skill set. I think I'm, like, very accomplished, actually. But if you're Indian or you understand the community, like, you know that there's this really strong pressure within that, and that there are these judgments that are going to be made, and that there's just a lack of understanding of most professions that aren't a doctor or engineer. I was going to say doctor, lawyer, or engineer, but I think doctor and lawyer are the ones that there's the most understanding around. Mainly just doctor. If you're a lawyer, it's like at least you tried or something. But with what I'm doing, it seems like I went after passion, which is not a smart thing to do. So, you know, while the community, of course, wanted to come to the United States to give their kids more opportunities than they would be afforded in India, there is a pretty strong pressure then that your parents made these sacrifices for you, and that you need to do what is expected of you now that you are here and afforded these opportunities. And pursuing passion career is, like, kind of stupid. So I think that there are, like, all these layers to it of how I'm judged by the community, and then for me, how I'm also judging myself in terms of my body. And it's hard for me, but I kept on noticing, and I'll talk about it with my therapist today, like, how I kept on just letting it go. Like, I was like very focused on her and her needs, and so that helped, like taking the attention from me. But I was also just like, like, this is who I am. Like, I couldn't magically come, like, come here being 70 pounds lighter than I am. I'm never going to be. My goal weight has always been something like 150, which would still be like 40 pounds heavier than my sister. And that would put me definitely in a category where I'm no longer overweight. So, like, it's not like I can never be the size of my sister, and it's not like I want to be a doctor. I think that there have been times, though, when I've been in those environments where I got confused, honestly, because I didn't know myself well enough. And I feel like I'm at a point where I'm starting to really trust myself. And it's not like I have anything to prove to anyone, because there's nothing to prove to anyone. Like, I just know that I honestly do have a lot going for me, and that I'm doing well. Like, even in the passion career, that I'm doing well. And so, because of that, I think I wasn't feeling as heavily all of these like really negative thoughts that I've felt in the past. So I'm happy for that. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and make an appearance because I know that doing this practice is really helpful for me. So I don't really have too much else to say, but I hope you guys are having a good day, and I hope you continue to find yourself and be yourself and be true to who you are, because that is honestly the key to, in my experience, like everything. So I'll leave you with that, and talk to you guys soon.